11 Baluch in 1971 war. 11 Baluch was part of 24 Brigade, the left forward brigade of Pakistan's 8th Division, deployed to defend the Shakargarh Bulge. 11 Baluch with a company X 40 Punjab and Chenab Rangers was deployed along Sakror Band with a troop of 11 Independent Armored Squadron. 24 Punjab with a troop of 11 Independent Armored Squadron was holding area from included Jadpal to Azizpur. 40 Punjab less 1 company was deployed to defend Zafarwal town. Company minus RNS X-21 Baluch was deployed in the inner inter-battalion gap between 11 Punjab, 11 Baluch and 24 Punjab in general area Chak Saraj and Jadpal. Alpha Company 11 Baluch occupying a screen position at Lagwal was ordered to withdraw from Lagwal and rejoin 11 Baluch by headquarters 24 Brigade on 11th December 1971. Indian 47 Brigade advancing from north attacked across Basantar River with 3 battalions on night 15 December 1971. 11 Baluch was tasked to attack northern part of Indian 47 Brigade bridgehead comprising 16 Madras which had attacked Chak Saraj at 1900 hours on 15 December and captured it with some portion of Lalial Reserve Forest by 21:15 hours. 11 Baluch was tasked to counterattack Indian bridgehead's northern part with one of its own Alpha Company and Charlie Company of 40 Punjab under command 11 Baluch. Direct participant in this battle, Major Ghayasuddin Babur narrated how pathetically 24 Brigade was led in the following words. However, as per the research work, there were no counterattack plans. Neither these had ever been rehearsed during day and night. Moreover, battalions had never been put through such contingencies before the outbreak of war. 24 Brigade counterattacked Chak Saraj with 2 companies, Company X 40 Punjab and Company X 11 Baluch. The counterattacking troops bravely charged the objective in a hand-to-hand fight with the Indians and suffered 10 killed and a number of wounded. However, counterattack did not meet success due to the mounting pressure of the enemy armor, and troops withdrew in general area between Sakror Band and Sikandarpur. Subsequently, after failure of 8 Armoured Brigade attacks, a company of 11 Baluch was employed to contain the bridgehead. Now, 11 Baluch most ham-handedly dealt with, of course, with a hostile brigade commander, Sher Ali Baz, who had mostly served in the intelligence and was not a field commander, certainly. Sadistic, narrow-minded, gunning for faults. Many officers described him as a man with no positive trait. Anyhow, 11 Baluch was not given any gallantry award. They suffered 10 killed and 6 PWs. The battalion performed outstandingly, although its role in actual fighting was nominal in terms of casualties suffered. Its ultra-brave commanding officer, Colonel Herbert, was unjustly sacked from command after ceasefire as a scapegoat to whitewash the pathetic operational failure of 1 Corps, 8 Independent Armored Brigade, 24 Brigade and 8 Division. The battalion's net impact on the outcome of war was limited as it did not face the brunt of Indian attack at any stage in the war. An outstanding battalion of the army who did not get a chance to really once again prove its mettle. The battalion's casualties indicate that the battalion did not see intense action, barring its Alpha Company who launched a counterattack. Now, this is a map showing the dispositions. 24 Brigade of 8 Division deployment in Chakragarh Bulge to enable the reader to understand the role of 11 Baluch. As you can see, 11 Baluch is deployed on the minefield, as you can see, laid by my father's battalion in November 1971 after being brought from East Pakistan. As you can see, on its right is Bravo Company 21 Baluch RNS. It was one of the most tactically stupid decisions of the 71 war to place an RNS company to hold ground, crucial ground, in between two infantry battalions, and certainly proves the absolute ineptitude and incompetence of the brigade commander Sher Ali Baz and the brigade major, who was a commando officer and sadly placed as brigade major. My uncle, later Major General Agha Manzoor Rauf, who was a brigade major in Sialkot in 1965 war, was commanding engineer battalion in 15 Division and frequently narrated that Major Manzoor, the brigade major of 14 Para Brigade, had defected to the Indian side before the war, and this gap was very well known gap, and various submissions were made to the general officer commanding Abdul Ali Malik that a battalion should be placed here, but sadly Abdul Ali Malik gave no heed to these warnings. This gap was very well known to the Indians because of Manzoor's defection, and as we will see, the Indians straight came for this gap. So, this was not by coincidence, this was by design, and it became very fashionable to blame the RNS company because 3 eminent armored regiments, 13 Lancers, 31 Cavalry and 27 Cavalry, had failed to crack this bridgehead. Already the 8th Division commander, I don't know how he got Hilal-e-Jurrat in 65 war, he was much overrated, and he decided to scapegoat Colonel Herbert after the war. This was narrated to my father by General Abdullah Saeed, who was in the 1 Corps headquarters, and also confirmed by other officers like Brigadier Mushir, etc., who was the GSO 1, and various other officers. Brigadier Aslam Niazi also narrated this unjust sacking of Herbert after the ceasefire. I am in heavy debt to Colonel Moin Rauf, who was the liaison officer of 27 Cavalry in 11 Baluch, who narrated how Herbert was sacked, how a jeep came with a character who was an outsider and a much despised figure, a lieutenant colonel, hand carrying the signal, sacking Colonel Herbert. Of course, Herbert was not sacked by Sher Ali Baz, who was nobody. Herbert was sacked with full blessings of the 1 Corps commander, as Abdullah Saeed narrated, by the full blessing of the 8th Division commander Abdul Ali Malik. Sher Ali Baz, and above all the full blessing of Gul Hasan Khan, who was the most responsible for this whole failure, who had posted Colonel Masood, an intelligence officer, intelligence background officer, to 13 Lancer over the heads of two 13 Lancer veterans, Abbas and Mushir. How the hell could Gul Hasan post such a character, Masood? Masood was described by Brigadier Kaim Nasir SJ as very brave, standing in between the targets when the 13 Lancer fired on the sub-caliber ranges. Well, very good physical courage, but no operational leadership, and of course was a miserable failure. The brigade commander, of course, the Pakistani official history certified that he totally ignored the artillery. He made 25 counter-attack plans, none of which employed any Pakistani corps artillery, although 20 to 30 artillery units were in this area and could have supported the 8th Armoured Brigade attack. But that is a different story. I am just reflecting on the various things. Another interesting point brought by Major Ghayasuddin Babar late, who has died, who is no longer with us and was member of our group, was that 40 Punjab could also have been used to attack Jadpal instead of 35 FF. But then Ghayasuddin Babar noted that first, Sher Ali Baz was very friendly and chummy with CU 40 Punjab, and he did not want to misuse his friend's battalions, which was readily available. Instead, 35 FF, a neo unit who knew nothing about the area, was launched. But here our discussion is about 11 Baluch. So this is the 11 Baluch disposition. As you can see, Charlie Company on the left, as you can see, Ranger Company in the middle, Delta Company on the right, Bravo Company on the left, facing the Deg Nala, where I had pitched my tent in 1984 escalation. Charlie Company of 40 Punjab placed under command 11 Baluch. The right depth company, a Mickey Mouse troop of the independent squadron, commanded by my brother-in-law's uncle, Major Gad Ijaz, as he was called, Hussain Muhammad Ijaz Gad, 5 horse, an ancient character. Anyhow, now 21 Baluch Company in the center, the scapegoat, placed by the inept commander and the brigade major, and of course its company commander, bodybuilding champion, was later scapegoated unjustly. You see, your whole armoured brigade has failed. 3 tank regiments have been miserable failures. Your infantry battalion has been a total failure. Your Hilale Jurat decorated GUC has been a total failure in counter-attack. Even Fazle Mukim in his book noted that 8th Division GUC was notorious for launching badly planned counter-attacks. Yet this man was promoted 3-star after the war, but that is typical of Pakistan Army. Like a brigade commander in Cham was promoted 4-star, although he never joined his brigade. This is, typical of the bureaucratic, pen-pushing armies, as you can see. Now 24 Punjab is on the right. Again, it has got a tank troop of independent squadron. As you can see, 40 Punjab is in a cushy position because its CO, as per Ghayasuddin Babar, was very close to Sher Ali Baz. So they are, well protected, comfortably placed in Zafarwal. 40 Punjab less one company being with the 11 Baluch. 46th Field, the hero of this battle, whose later brigadier Noorul Hasan was the only officer awarded Sitara Jurat in 8th Division, Why? Because 8th Division did not fight at all, barring Nurul Hasan or barring 24 Brigade, which was badly led and pathetically led. So 8th Brigade actually 8th Division did not fight much, and that is why the only two Sitara Jurats, as far as I can recollect, one was given to the Bengali Havaldar of 19 FF, an ultra brave man, and because of his CO, Colonel Shafiq Malik, a very, very brave man, exceptionally brave man, sadly not promoted 3-star in General Zia era. Although my father always used to recollect that we had two Shafiqs, one was my father's staff college mate of 68, who my father remembered often used to collapse in tutes and study periods because he could not walk. And my father used to be shocked how an infantry officer is so physically weak that in most of the tutes where the staff college students had to climb the mountains, this man used to collapse. But he became 3-star in Zaira, and Shafiq, the hero of 71 war and the 65 war, was not promoted Lieutenant General. But this is typical of our army. Anyhow, Nurul Hasan from 46th Field was also awarded a very well deserved Sitara Jurat. I had the honor of interviewing him last year, which I posted also on my channel. Now, as you can see, this is the 8th Division deployment. 8th Division hardly did any fighting. As you can see, in the middle was the Changes force, where only 20 Lancers did the fighting, suffering 16 fatal casualties. The other units, 13 Punjab, did zero fighting. 13 Punjab lost only 4 killed, and 1 company bolted from Chakra, as narrated by Colonel Yayef in the DQ of Changes force. 33 cavalry bolted twice, suffering only 6 fatal casualties, 2 squadron commanders sacked, but 20 Lancer was the hero of Changes force battle, although one of its squadrons also bolted initially, and interestingly the squadron commander became 3-star. Anyhow, this is part of history. So as you can see, 8th Division has got 4 units comfortably tucked on the Deg river behind the minefield laid by my father's battalion in November 1971 and partly by my uncle's battalions from 15th Division. As you can see, 24 Punjab is holding the right part of 24 Brigade, 11 Baluch the left part, the scapegoat RNS company the center, 40 Punjab tucked comfortably in the depth, as you can see, and of course Dharam enclave again, not much fighting. So this is to illustrate the position at the time of Indian attack. Alpha Company 11 Baluch, commanded by Major Iftikhar Ali Khan, withdraws as ordered from Lagwal on 11 December 1971, as ordered by 24 Brigade headquarters, and rejoins 11 Baluch as Indian 54 Division crosses 2nd minefield layer and attacks south. Interestingly, Major Iftikhar as a Lieutenant Colonel was demoted Major and put on adverse by General Abdullah Saeed during the Balochistan operations, but due to good old boy contacts he became a 3-star, one of the mysteries of Pakistan Army, how push and pull decides everything. As you can see, now Alpha Company Iftikhar rejoins 11 Baluch on 11th December 1971. As you can see, the Indian 47 Brigade is attacking along with 2 armoured regiments. As you can see, an Alpha Company 11 Baluch holding Lagwal across the Basantar river. It could not have done much, was rightly withdrawn on 11 December. As you can see, now Indian 47 Infantry Brigade attacks across Basantar river and forms a bridgehead with 3 battalions. As you can see, when 3 battalions came, naturally what could an RNS company do? But in our army it is fashionable to scapegoat the people who are the weakest. And of course the RNS company commander was the weakest man. Later on, of course, another scapegoat was discovered by 8th Division commander, a Christian CO who had no wali waris, an orphan, and he too was sacked. Now when 3 infantry battalions attack, what would an RNS company do? Frankly, I pose this question to all people who are very notorious in condemning the RNS company. And when this gap was well known before the war, Manzoor had defected with the plans, and this matter was brought to the attention of 8th Division Commander Abdul Ali Malik, who just brushed it aside. Indians came straight for this gap. They were very clear. As you can see, there was no coincidence. As you can see, 15th Division is on the left of Deg Nadi, and as you can see, Changes force is on the right of 24 Brigade, as you can see here, and Indians came straight for this gap. Also, for the layman reader, I may add that Indian 54 Division was trapped between the 2nd and 3rd minefield layer for 4 days, but the indecisive 1 Corps commander of Pakistan Army could not decide to counterattack and destroy it. And of course, in Pakistan, incompetence is rewarded. Later he was sent as ambassador by General Zia, typical of our system. As you can see, now 3 brigades of 47 Indian Infantry Brigade attack across Basantar and form a bridgehead. As you can see, Alpha Company 11 Baluch and Charlie Company 40 Punjab launch counter-attack on the Indian bridgehead at 0200 hours 16 December and capture Siraj Chak, but are forced to withdraw as Indian tanks counter-attack. Now what could these Mickey Mouse 2 companies do in front of a complete Indian armoured regiment? As you can see, where our 3 armoured regiments miserably failed, what could 2 infantry companies do? It is bad taste, bad military history to blame 11 Baluch for the failures. As you can see, Indian bridgehead is in the yellow, as you can see clearly, and 2 companies, one Alpha Company, Iftikhar 11 Baluch, and Charlie Company 40 Punjab launched counter-attack, which is not a success. As you can see, enlarged view of Alpha Company 11 Baluch and Charlie Company 40 Punjab counter-attack on Siraj Chak 0200 hours 16 December 1971. As you can see, this is how they attacked and were of course repulsed and went towards the area between Lalial and Sikandarpur. As you can see, this is my hand drawn map. As you can see, now we have lost track of this because, as you can see, this is the enlarged view of Alpha Company 11 Baluch and Charlie Company 40 Punjab counter-attack on Chak Siraj 0200 16 December 1971. As you can see, this is 40 Punjab and 11 Baluch containing the Indian bridgehead later on, after the miserable counterattacks of 8 Armoured Brigade had failed. As you can see, company of 11 Baluch in the north, another company here, another company 40 Punjab here, and 24 Punjab in the south. As you can see, this is the photograph of Colonel Herbert, the brave CO of the 11 Baluch, most graciously shared by our respected senior Major Mustaba from this greatest battalion, as you can see. And of course, where 3 armoured regiments had failed, where 1 infantry battalion had failed, where 1 Hilal Jurat GUC had failed, where 1 brigade commander who was always bragging and had served only in intelligence appointments, had miserably failed from Bannu. What could Herbert have done? But he was sacked. As I sadly recollected, he was our neighbor when my father was commanding the Corps Engineers in 4 Corps in 1977, and I frequently chatted with him and walked with him. He never blamed anybody. He was a thorough professional, and he frequently did narrate how this whole blunder, this massive failure took place. So this is just 11 Baluch for the layman reader, and I hope that you will find this narrative interesting.